Which budget smartphone is better for you? The Umidigi A5 Pro or the Samsung Galaxy A20? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about that. Follow me on Instagram at KevinBreezeTV. Please join the Kevin Breeze Tech community on Facebook to chat about budget smartphones, ask questions, and help others. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Umidigi A5 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy A20. So there are two main reasons why I wanted to make this video. The first reason is because I just got both of these phones. They're both very new to the market, so I know that they're both going to be really popular on this channel. And the second reason why I wanted to make this video is because the Galaxy A20 is actually quite a bit more money than the A5 Pro, but despite this being more money, the A5 Pro actually has better specifications in many areas. So I really wanted to put these up head to head so that you could decide which of the two you prefer, and I really want to know what your final thoughts are about these two phones in the comment section below. Now there's only one version of the Umidigi A5 Pro out there, and that is the GSM unlocked version of the phone. So it's factory unlocked, which means that you can easily jump from carrier to carrier, and it's GSM unlocked, so it'll work with any GSM carrier. Now in the US, this will not work with Verizon or Boost Mobile, and it'll work for some people on Verizon. It just depends on the kinds of bands that are available in your area. But if you are a Verizon wireless customer, I'd probably stay away from this phone. Now if you use A20 or T-Mobile, or Metro by T-Mobile, or Cricket, or Straight Talk, then you're going to have a great time with using the Umidigi A5 Pro because this phone will work really well with those carriers and you'll get full 4G LTE. Now this version of the Samsung Galaxy A20 is actually the Metro by T-Mobile version of the phone. It is locked to that carrier, but you can buy this device factory unlocked, and I will be leaving a link in the video description for that. Now with the factory unlocked version of the Galaxy A20, you'll also have the same carrier limitations that you have with the Umidigi A5 Pro. But again, if you're using a GSM carrier like AT&T or T-Mobile, it's going to work really well for you. Now the Umidigi A5 Pro is currently selling for $99. However, I'm pretty sure that's an introductory price, and after a little while, the price will be going up to $119.99. Another thing to keep in mind too is that Umidigi has a reputation for only stocking a limited amount of units in their Amazon store. And then after a while, those sell out, and then there's usually like a period of a week or two where they're not in stock anymore, and then they have more in stock. So my point is that if you are ready to buy an A5 Pro right now, or you think you're going to buy one in the next few days, you should definitely take a look at the link in the video description to see if they're currently in stock on Amazon. And if one is in stock, I definitely recommend making that purchase right away so that you don't run into the device being out of stock and then you having to wait a decent amount of time to get it. The factory unlocked version of the Samsung Galaxy A20 is currently selling on Amazon for around $169. So the price might be higher or lower currently, so you'll definitely want to check that out. But essentially it's around that price range. So after the price is increased on the A5 Pro, which will be happening soon, there's going to be about a $50 price difference between these two phones, with the Galaxy A20 being the more expensive option of the two. So you'll have to decide if it's worth spending more money for the A20 or not. Now if you're creating a new line with Metro by T-Mobile, you can actually get this phone for $79.99, and if you're porting in from another carrier, then you can get it for free. But if you are looking to go the factory unlocked route, then you're going to have to pay a bit more on Amazon. Now the Umidigi A5 Pro features a 6.3-inch display, and the Galaxy A20 has a 6.4-inch display. So we do get a slightly larger display on the Galaxy A20, but really, when putting these two phones side by side, they look pretty much the same exact size. The Umidigi A5 Pro features a 1080p display coming in with a 19.5:9 aspect ratio, and the Galaxy A20 features a 720p display at 19.5:9. So we do get a much better pixel density with the A5 Pro from Umidigi than we do with the Galaxy A20. However, I think the colors on the Galaxy A20 definitely look better than the A5 Pro. But the A5 Pro still does have a really good looking display. So really I would consider it to be a tie because like I said, I think the colors look a lot better on the A20, but the A5 Pro does have that better pixel density. Now up top, both phones do feature teardrop notch designs, and I'm a big fan of that. I'm really glad that Samsung is finally getting on board with that design because this new A line of phones that they launched are some of the first phones by them to feature it. With the Umidigi A5 Pro, we are getting a 16 megapixel front-facing camera, and with the Galaxy A20, we're getting an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. Now, with real-life usage, the A20 definitely produces better looking photos than the A5 Pro. You'll definitely want to check out my full review videos that I've done for both devices to check out photo and video quality samples from both of them to decide on your own which one you prefer. Both devices feature 32 gigabytes of internal storage with the ability to expand that with the micro SD card. Neither of these two phones have wireless charging, but they do both have fingerprint sensors on the back. So we'll try that out right now. So we'll do it first on the A5 Pro, and you can see that was really quick. Another thing that both phones have is facial recognition, so that's great to see as well. But we'll do the fingerprint sensor test here, which I already did with the A20, and that's super quick. It's almost so fast that it's hard for me to turn the phone around in time. So both phones have really good fingerprint sensors on the back. Also on the back are the cameras. So with the Umidigi A5 Pro, we have a 3-camera design. So we have a main 16 megapixel camera, we have a secondary 5 megapixel camera for the bokeh mode, and we have a third 5 megapixel wide angle camera. And with the Galaxy A20, we just have a dual camera design, but we actually get wide angle photos with the secondary camera. So it seems like they've combined the proximity sensor camera and the wide angle camera into one here. So even though there are 3 cameras with the A5 Pro, they both have the same abilities with being able to take photos in that bokeh mode, taking photos of course in the normal mode, but also taking wide angle photos. And again, I feel like the Galaxy A20 does take the better looking photos of the two, but definitely take a look at my review videos to be the judge of that on your own. The Umidigi A5 Pro features 4 gigabytes of RAM and the Galaxy A20 features 3 gigabytes of RAM. The A5 Pro features the MediaTek Helio P23 processor, which is actually a pretty good processor. I know that MediaTek doesn't always have the best reputation, but this processor is pretty good and really does perform well. Now, the Galaxy A20 features Samsung's homegrown Exynos 7904 processor running at 1.8 gigahertz, and it's a good processor as well. It makes the phone fly and it performs really well overall. Of course, in a little bit, I'm going to be doing a speed test comparison between these two phones so that we can really see which one is faster. Now, video recording with these two devices maxes out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. The Umidigi A5 Pro features a 4150 mAh internal battery, and the Galaxy A20 features a 4000 mAh internal battery. So the battery capacities of these two phones are definitely pretty close. Now, both phones run Android 9 Pie, and that's really good to see. However, the experience is very different. So with the A5 Pro, you're getting stock Android here with really no extra apps added on and a fully stock experience. And with the Galaxy A20, you're getting Samsung Skin on here. Now, the good news about Samsung Skin is that it is well optimized, so you are going to get good performance with the phone. The bad news though is that it is a very thick skin and really doesn't look anything like stock Android. So if you don't mind that, then you'll be happy with this phone. But if you really do like stock Android, then you might be a little disappointed. Also, we have Bixby built in, so if you like Bixby, which clearly I don't because I haven't even set it up yet, that's right there too at one swipe away. Of course, both phones have Google Assistant built in, so you can use that as well. I don't use either of those personally, but they're there for you if you want them. So it's really your personal preference that will determine which type of skin and layout here you prefer. But if you do like the stock route, then you're going to like the A5 Pro. And if you like having a skin, especially Samsung Skin, then you'll definitely like the Galaxy A20 better. Now that we've compared the specifications of these two devices, let's now compare the hardware. And there definitely are some differences here. Of course, there's some similarities as well, especially on the front. Both phones have that teardrop notch design up top. However, with the A5 Pro, you're getting a 1080p display, and with the Galaxy A20, you get 720p. Down below, they have a chin that's about the same size, so definitely looking at these phones just at their face here, they do look pretty similar. Now on the left side of the two devices, we just have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. However, with the Umidigi A5 Pro, we have a metal band running around the phone that definitely looks and feels very premium. And with the Galaxy A20, we just have plastic here, but it is a nice polished plastic material. On the right side of these two devices, we have the volume rocker and power button, so very similar on the two. On the top of the phones, we have nothing on the A5 Pro, but on the A20, we have the noise canceling microphone. Taking a look at the bottom of these two devices, they both have a speaker, they both have a microphone, they both have a 3.5mm headphone jack, but on the Umidigi A5 Pro, we have a micro USB port for charging and data transfer, and on the Galaxy A20, we have a USB-C port. So I'm definitely a fan of having USB-C over micro USB, but at the cheap price of the Umidigi A5 Pro is being offered at, that is one of the compromises that you will have to deal with. They both do feature a glossy reflective material. However, with this color of the A5 Pro, we get the crystal blue color, which looks really cool and actually looks different based on the angle that you're holding the phone at. I do like this black color though with the Galaxy A20. I think it looks very nice and fancy, so I like both designs. And like I mentioned earlier with these cameras, there's really nothing impressive about having 3 cameras with the A5 Pro, considering that the abilities of these 3 cameras are combined into 2 cameras on the Galaxy A20. Now the fingerprint sensor placement on the A5 Pro is nice and convenient, but on the A20 I feel like the fingerprint sensor is just a little bit too high. I really feel like it should be right here, and it's not, it's further up. So maybe for a future successor to this phone, Samsung can move the fingerprint sensor down even lower. But it seems like Samsung actually has a pretty bad record of having their fingerprint sensors in convenient places if you remember some of their flagship phones in the past. Let's now do a speed test comparison between these two devices. We're going to start with the camera, so 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was about equal with both devices there. And we do have different camera applications and software in both phones. Let's pull up Google Chrome, 1, 2, 3, go. And the Galaxy A20 was first to pull up content here. Let's pull up Wikipedia on both devices. 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like the Galaxy A20 was first to pull up Wikipedia. And pulling up an article like this definitely gives you a good idea of the colors that are produced by both devices. It seems like the Galaxy A20 is a little bit brighter and the A5 Pro is a little bit darker. Both phones do have the brightness at maximum. Let's go to Engadget.com, 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like Engadget actually came up first on the A5 Pro, which is pretty interesting. We'll let these both load and then we'll try out some scrolling here. So we'll scroll on the A5 Pro so you can see the performance with that. And we'll now scroll on the A20. Seems like the A20 is a bit smoother, I won't lie. Even though the A20 does have 3 GB of RAM versus 4 on the A5 Pro. However, maybe the processor on the A20 is a little bit better than the one on the A5 Pro. Let's go to this article, 1, 2, 3, go. And that was a lot faster to load on the Galaxy A20. So it looks like overall both phones do have good performance, but it does seem like the Galaxy A20 performs a bit better. I think the processor is definitely a big part of that, especially considering that this device does have 1 less gigabyte of RAM than the A5 Pro. Now let me be clear, I'm typically not a big fan of Samsung, mostly because of the software and the skin that comes on their phones, but I do think head-to-head, the Galaxy A20 is the better phone of the two. The reason for that is because I feel like this phone is a lot better optimized than the A5 Pro. You're going to get better looking photos because the camera hardware is better optimized with the software. You're going to get a little bit better performance too. And that's too bad because I actually prefer the hardware of the A5 Pro from Umidigi a lot better. But the good news is that these are both good devices. I think you'll be very happy with either of them, but I do kind of prefer the Galaxy A20 over the A5 Pro. Of course, it is more money than the A5 Pro, so keep that in mind too. So if you're willing to spend more, then the A20 might be the phone for you, but if you do want to save a little bit of money, then you might want to go with the Umidigi A5 Pro. But I'm really curious to know what your thoughts are. Which of these two phones do you prefer? Do you think one's better than the other? And which one would you personally go with? Like I said, I like both in their own ways. And I think on their own, they're both very good devices. I think for me personally, I would go with the A20 over the A5 Pro. But if you're looking to buy either of these, then definitely take a look at the link in the video description as they'll take you over to Amazon where you can pick them up. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which team you're on, who you're rooting for here, and I'll see you in the next one.